What high school conspiracy turned out to be true at your school? There was a girl freshman year who went missing. She ended up being found dead in the river. There were rumors that she was seen on a bridge with her boyfriend the day she went missing. Nothing was ever found, and they assumed it was suicide or an accident. Fast forward 25 years and the boyfriend murdered his best friend of several decades, set a fire to cover it up, and went on the run. Couple days later he killed a woman at a rest stop in the bathroom to steal her car. They reopened the case about the high school girlfriend. That rumor was correct all along. He will be in prison the rest of his life. There were rumors about a music teacher and a student, but they were both pretty dramatic people and did very little to dismiss the talk. So half the school wanted to believe it for the salacious thrill and half just waved it off as attention-seeking and talking. Teacher got canned without explanation. Most of us just figured it was budget-related. A math teacher filled in on his music/theater roles. Years later I randomly caught up with the student and she said the rumors were true. She freaked out and tried to end things to shake off the reputation, and eventually the teacher showed up trashed and naked on her family's front lawn, in the rain, yelling out for her. Like a really effed up version of John Cusack from Say Anything but with less boombox and more drenched wang. That RIT teacher slept with his students. He was attractive, young, friendly, etc. Then suddenly a rumor went around the school that he was sleeping with a sixth former, aged 17/18. He was suspended for a while but then decided to leave after he was cleared of wrongdoing. He got a new job at my cousin's high school across town. He did it again there. Got caught with another 17-year-old and was fired shortly after. That my high school history teacher was putting whiskey in the 2-liter bottle of Pepsi he carried around every day. He was caught trying to buy liquor for some senior girls and it resulted in a car chase we all watched. The police had to pull out the spike strips to catch him. That our high school had an extensive network of underground tunnels and shelters left over from World War II. Sure enough, not long after I graduated, they were renovating one of the weight rooms that was either at basement level or partially underground, and they found an entire walled-off room stocked with supplies from the early Cold War era that no one had remembered. So maybe the supposed tunnel system under the football field was a bit of a stretch, but there definitely were hidden shelter/stockroom areas that had been forgotten about. Edit: the bomb shelter they found while renovating had supplies from the early Cold War era, not specifically World War II. But the conspiracy rumors had been pretty dang close. We had a math teacher who was homosexual. This was in the 80s, so more of a thing then. Well, he was still closeted but it wasn't much of a secret. He and the health teacher had a brutal rivalry. Talked about each other all the time, played pranks, hated each other, etc. The conspiracy was they were lovers even though the health teacher was married. A few years after I graduated, I heard they were found out. And he had put a bullet through his brain. Automotive mechanics program in high school. The teacher was suspected to be doing drugs. In class often it looked like signs of withdrawal would take over and entirely consume him. It turns out he was doing drugs because when he was let go we found needles and spoons under the seat of a school vehicle we had been working on. I hope he's doing well. It was sad to see him deteriorate in a short amount of time. My algebra teacher was having an online affair. She would teach for about 5 minutes and then tell us to read to ourselves and do our work while she typed away on her computer. One day she just didn't show up. Turns out she up and left in the middle of the night to move out to Ohio to be with her internet boyfriend. Pretty mild, but I grew up in a town of 700 people so it was huge news. Also our volleyball/track coach sleeping with senior girls. There was even a fist fight between 2 girls over this. I didn't really pay much attention until I got into high school and joined track. He had me doing weird stretches when he was directly behind me while I was bent over. I was super innocent and fairly dumb about sex. I knew it was creepy but I just rolled with it although I was uncomfortable. One of the boys on the track team I swore who hated me because he was always picking on me pulled me aside and told me what the coach was doing was perverted and he was clearly excited the whole time. This kid went to the principal in my defense and the coach resigned that next year. I don't believe he was ever caught, but after he resigned I learned his wife was a former student of his and their relationship started while she was in high school. Rumor, 9th grade, kid had a hit list and was going to stab people. Rumor spread like wildfire and the school resource officer was alerted. Next day the bus the kid rode was singled out and isolated at the bus drop-off zone. The school resource officer, a local police officer, assistant principal, and the kid's grade counselor all boarded the bus. SRO searched the bag and found a kitchen knife. Kid was taken off the bus and arrested. I have no idea what happened after that. There was this weird closet built into the middle of the hallway, yep, the middle, so you had to walk around a giant block of a closet, but the door was always locked. Every morning before the bell rang, we'd meet up by the closet block because it was close to our lockers. The rumor was that it was full of mold because our school was underfunded and gross, but I figured it was just janitorial supplies. I had never seen a janitor go in there, but why would they leave a closet full of mold? Plus, there was already a room that was full of mold. The old boiler room which was underground and hadn't been used in decades. Then one day, the door was unlocked. Mold. So much mold. Multiple stacks of German textbooks were rotting inside this closet. The pages were wavy and stuck together, and the whole thing was covered in black spots with a white dust on top. The closer you got to the bottom of the stack, the more uniform the books became. They had literally melted together and dried, Lord knows how many times. I simply closed the door and said, well guys, I guess this is why we only have Spanish as our foreign language. TLDR, weird closet full of mold that was dealt with by being locked all the time. That the reason a long-time sub was let go because she pooped herself during a class when she lost her S. Both ways. Conspiracy only lasted until that summer. It was true. Word took forever to get out because 70% of the class didn't show up to begin with. I must say I was impressed with those involved staying tight-lipped some 7 months.